faces, the energy in this room is just so invigorating. I'm going to invite Dawn Linden back up with me because we're actually going to tag team this first part of the presentation. So the K-8 STEAM Infusion really is based off of, based off of the STEAM concept. And the STEAM concept here in Ann Arbor was kind of developed K-12 with a group of teachers, administrators, central office staff, along with some advisory council that we have. And it's science, technology, engineering, arts, because the humanities are so important here in Ann Arbor, as well as math, all working together around those 21st century skills that we know all of our students really, really need. Problem solving, critical thinking, creativity, leadership, because the jobs we have today are not the jobs our students are going to have tomorrow. So we want to make sure that we can give them those foundational skills to help them propel themselves to where they need to be in the future. So with that, how will this program be different? Are you throwing everything out? No, we're not throwing everything out. We are infusing STEAM, and these are the areas that we're hoping to infuse it, with essential questions, problem solving, cooperative learning and collaborative learning environments, and technology tools.
Our focus for this integrated curriculum and learning experience is really on the newest, most advanced standards of learning. So how many of you have heard of the Common Core State Standards? Raise your hand. Excellent. These are new standards that have been adopted that really do center on the integration of literacy into science and mathematics and all areas of learning. So that's a big part of what we'll be focusing on, as will all of the Ann Arbor Public Schools. Also, we have our technology standards that are really driving how we've designed the program. We have our next generation science standards. These are in draft form. They haven't yet been adopted, but they do represent new thinking about science learning, and we're looking to those for some guidance as well. And we have our engineering design process, which is really about problem solving, and that cycle is what students will be going through as they learn all throughout the year. And at the top, we have our core arts standards, and I want to introduce to you Robin Bailey. Robin Bailey is the district's fine arts coordinator, and she is an integral part of planning the A in STEAM and integrating with science, technology, literacy, engineering, and mathematics. So, how many of you have a sense of what guiding essential questions are when we say that? It's kind of teacher jargon, right? So what we mean by this is, instead of teachers driving the learning with a statement of what students will be able to do at the end of that lesson or unit, it's really in the form of a really overarching, deep thinking question that children will explore during their learning. And so their goal during that unit or that lesson will be to figure out the answer to that question. So it's really about getting them to think differently and to problem solve together. Some examples of those questions might be, how have innovations changed people's lives? So they'll look to history, and they'll look to their research, and they'll think about that. And then they'll be given a task or a problem that is real world to try to think about how they can solve that. Another one might be, what can we do to preserve and protect our environment? They'll be looking at real world challenges facing scientists today. Another example, how does changing a variable affect a system? Sounds like some pretty in-depth science thinking, but it impacts all of their learning, and they'll be overarching. So they'll not only respond to these guided essential questions, but they'll also be coming up with their own questions for each other, and that will take the learning into different areas as well. It's very exciting.
Problem solving, inquiry-based problem solving, another kind of buzzword that is used an awful lot that I want to make sure that we're clear about. What this really means is getting your hands dirty, getting in there and applying and making connections with your learning, making sure that you're designing experiments, asking the questions about those experiments, developing ideas, making sure that you are modeling some of those ideas, making connections, collecting and analyzing the data for those variables that we may be changing in our systems, and then sharing those results one of the things that we probably all know is that information is very accessible today. But being able to share that information that you're learning with other students, whether they're here, whether they're across the country, whether they're across the world, gives you another level of being able to explain what you're learning. And so being able to share the results of all of that problem solving is a big part of the STEAM infusion. Instructional practices, some of the things that we hope to see here going on, the co-teaching and co-planning, so that teachers will be working together to develop lessons. They will be working together so that when they are teaching, all of that integration happens naturally. It's not a, how do I make this happen? Okay, close your books and go to math. Now we're going to go down the hall and go to art. Maybe art is going to push in while you're teaching math. So it's integrating and co-teaching. Technology will be provided to the students, but for the purpose of investigation, collaboration, and communicating their learning. So we don't want technology to stand out. We want technology to be there and be available for them to help with their research, to produce the different items that they may need to, whether it's a spreadsheet for data, whether it's being able to look at data, whether it's being able to record their voice, record their video, to be able to share their information and their learning.
So this is an exciting part of our presentation, and don't worry, we're nearly done, I promise. This part is about community involvement and partnerships, and this is part of what will make the STEAM school incredibly strong and connected to real world, because we're going to be working with our professionals from the U of M, from our businesses locally. They will become our partners in guiding the students' thinking about those real world problems. So we're talking about projects and coordination. Consider things like an artist in residence. So an artist from the community who would come for a short period, spend time with a group of students on a project. Think about a resident chemist or a resident biologist who comes to work with students short-term on projects. That kind of infusion is what we're looking to do, and we have already so much interest from this very rich community that we couldn't be more excited. Leslie Science Center is interested in partnering with us, the Hands-On Museum. We have the University of Michigan Engineering Department and the Education Department looking to partner with us, and that will only grow and increase and get better. So we're excited about that potential.
One of the pieces that I forgot to mention was under technology, you may be wondering what technology is being looked at. Right now, the iPad is kind of the leading device that we're looking at, but we have not settled on what device will be used. But we do have some of those iPads available in the back if no one's ever seen one or would like to put their hands on one and see some of the apps that are on there that we have loaded. Those will be available in the back afterwards as well. The next piece that we want to share with you is just a sample of another school district that has done this. So it's a video. This is actually about a 15-minute video. We're only going to show you the first 5 minutes or so. But we want you to note that this video will be available on the website for you to watch the whole thing. Many people that have seen it have said to me the end is actually a lot better than the beginning. So as a little teaser.